The 5 great demon lords that make everyone in the martial world tremble with fear. At this moment, they have become a 3-year-old child being sold off. Seeing such a familiar scene immediately made the young man recall past memories. Back then, he was trafficked into the demon cult and became a killing machine. Later, due to internal strife within the demon cult, he ultimately died at the hands of his own people. After I digested the memories, I saw 2 imposing strong men in front of me. The strong man did not hesitate and kicked straight towards my heart. But this still seemed insufficient to vent his anger. He struck my head with a series of lightning-fast whips until the real pain spread throughout my body. I finally realized I had been reborn. Fortunately, at this moment, the man behind me intervened and stopped the strong man. Although I didn't know why I was reborn, it might be related to the scriptures the bald monk recited before dying. At this time, several assassins had just finished eating. The others were either picking their teeth or burping. The leading strong man walked towards me with a serious expression. Then he threw me over his shoulder, coldly saying, "Stop wasting time. Hurry back to the cult to report." Hearing this, I instinctively felt a chill all over my body. If I was taken away like this, I would be thrown back into the demon lair to suffer inhumane training. But unexpectedly, just as the strong man was about to go out to fetch the cart, a group of young men in white robes rushed in. However, the assassins, seeing that the newcomers were just a few kids, not only were they not afraid, but they also threatened to take them down. A prestigious family of great renown could not endure such humiliation. They also roared for them to pay with their lives. The assassins were delighted to hear this, and directly drew their swords to charge at the young cultivators. In just a brief encounter, the male cultivators present were almost all slaughtered. The only 2 surviving females, though lucky to be alive, became the playthings of these strong men. The leading strong man declared he would use them to treat his brothers to some meat. However, the woman did not cower or back down because of this. The belief that a warrior can be killed but not humiliated reached its peak at this moment. She charged forward, stabbing a sword directly at the strong man's neck. But unfortunately, this sword did not hit a vital spot. And just as the strong man mocked this sneak attack, saying it could be easily seen through, I suddenly kicked forward and collided with him. Then I grabbed the wine gourd from the strong man's waist. Taking advantage of his moment of pain, I flipped and jumped to the ground. Then there was another explosive impact that broke the window. But this body quickly reached its physical limit. Seeing that the assassins were about to catch up, I suddenly stopped and started looking around in a panic. As a result, the next second, the strong man came charging after me with a knife. And I, in my panic, accidentally kicked a stone at my feet and fell flat on my face. I endured the excruciating pain and wanted to retrieve the wine gourd in front of me. But the strong man's long knife was thrust in front of me. Just like that, I was once again captured and taken back to the tavern. And what awaited me was an even more brutal roundhouse kick. I don't know how long it passed when another assassin stepped forward to intervene. "Don't be angry. Let's hurry up and get ready to leave." The leading man, upon hearing this, impatiently tossed me aside, cursing as he opened the gourd, and took a big swig of the dry wine. Then he tossed a sip to each of the younger brothers. However, just as he finished packing and prepared to set off, he found that all the younger brothers were poisoned, and began to spit blood. The strong men stepped forward to inquire, only to also spit out a large mouthful of black blood. Realizing they were poisoned, the strong man immediately shouted to quickly circulate their energy. And at that moment, a tender voice rang out from the corner, saying it was poison. It is the most effective method for the weak to kill the strong. Hearing this, the strong man's pupils constricted, his heart filled with unease. At this moment, I looked like a hungry wolf, like the Grim Reaper. Since I was given a second chance, then you can set off with peace of mind. Watching everyone take their last breath, I finally let my guard down. There was no fear, but I just shrugged my shoulders and chuckled, because this way, I wouldn't have to go to that hellish den. However, in the next second, I fell into confusion. I had spent the last few decades in the demon sect, and now I suddenly didn't know where to go. Suddenly, the title of Demon Lord slipped out of my mouth. In my last life, it was he who stabbed me in the back, causing me to lose all my cultivation. Reborn back 20 years. But to seek revenge, I must re-enter the demon sect. Clearly, this goes against my dying wish to live for freedom. But to want freedom, I must continue to cultivate martial arts, because those without strength can only submit to violence and humiliation. Although the leader of the Martial Arts Alliance and the sect masters hold high status, they have too many concerns to deal with, and they are not suitable for me. Is there a way to have great martial skills, wealth, and power, while also enjoying a respected and peaceful old age? This thought was quickly dismissed by my own foolishness. There's no such good thing in this world. But suddenly, a pupils constricted, as I thought of something. In my past life, those elders of the Martial Arts Alliance, they divided the power of the alliance, enjoying many privileges, and never contributed a single bit during the battle between good and evil. Although the people of the demon sect mocked and despised them, I envied and resented these elders very much. Even though people like me, who are not from the 9 major sects or 5 great families, would find it difficult to become elders of the Martial Arts Alliance, as long as I make good use of my memories from my past life. Becoming an elder is not impossible. However, just when I felt discouraged and too weak, with no place to safely accumulate strength and slowly grow stronger, the 2 young girls beside me suddenly called for help. The girl in white trembled and begged me to save the young lady. Hearing this, I limped over. As I got closer and took a good look, I finally realized the girl in purple was actually the young lady of the Wanzang family. So I came up with a plan. This family might be able to lend me a hand. Although I hadn't heard of the Wanzang family in my past life, it seems they still have some strength. So when facing the family heads questioning, I revealed that the group of assassins were from the demon sect, their identities completely exposed. Although the family head did not blindly believe me, just based on my word, but upon learning that I was an orphan, with no place to go, still allowed me to stay and work with the butler later. Then the butler arranged for me to stay in a woodshed. Now, the issue of food and lodging has been resolved. The next step is to prepare to become an elder of the Martial Arts Alliance. And becoming an elder requires a lot of achievements and reputation. To achieve all of this, I also need to cultivate a powerful martial art. Fortunately, none of this is difficult for me. After all, in my past life, I was a disciple of the strongest in the martial world, the heavenly demon. So I immediately began to gather my internal energy. But the next second, I suddenly stopped, because the technique I practiced was demonic. If these righteous families discover this, there would only be a dead end. So now I need a righteous martial art technique. Moreover, its destructive power must reach the level comparable to the heavenly demon star technique, because only in this way can I perform the sword technique I practiced in my past life. Just as I was pondering which righteous sect has such a technique, a sudden thunder outside the window made me think of someone. Legend has it that there are 10 unparalleled masters among the righteous sects, known in the martial world as the 10 heavenly emperors. Among them, there is one person who once slaughtered a group of demonic sect masters with his bare fists. He is the King of Fists, known for his white thunder, divine skill. This is a divine level technique with even greater destructive power than the heavenly demon star technique. Now, only by becoming a disciple of the King of Fists and practicing the white thunder divine skill, Can I regain the realm of my past life? However, the King of Fists is elusive and unpredictable. There's no way to know where he is right now. The only clue I have is that in 5 years, he will appear in the land of Sichuan. In order to gain the King of Fists recognition in 5 years, I practice boxing day and night against the doorframe. And as the days and months go by in my training, my appetite has also been growing larger. Every meal attracts a crowd of servants. In the past 2 years, I have been using the most basic 3 talents mind method to gather internal energy. Because the efficiency is too low, I have only gathered internal energy the size of a grain of rice in 2 years. The reason I can eat so much is to allow my body to develop quickly. Before learning the King of Fists techniques, but the other servants humiliate me, calling me a starving ghost reincarnated. They even interrupt my meals. They invite me to the back door. However, I blurted out a refusal. I didn't expect that this would completely infuriate the man. He threatened me with his status as a top servant. As if that wasn't enough to vent his anger, he used his fingers, just after using the restroom, to stir my soup. While licking the hot soup off his fingers, he said in a low voice that if I didn't want to be embarrassed, I should obediently come out with him. Seeing the disdainful smiles of the other servants, I chose not to endure it any longer. Under the gloating eyes of everyone, I slowly walked toward the backyard. A dozen servants cornered me against the wall. I calmly asked them what they wanted. A few strong men exchanged glances, then rushed at me all at once, saying they wanted to teach me some basic etiquette. The leading man then pushed me down in front of him and coldly spoke up. To make a long story short, I hope you can learn to behave yourself from now on. However, as soon as he finished speaking, I threw a quick uppercut, and this top servant was instantly knocked out by me. He fell to the ground. The other servants were all scared and sweating profusely, but I had a wicked smile on my face, slowly saying next, I hope you all let me have my fun, and quickly appeared next to another person. I took care of another one. When I reached the third person, that person was already prepared. Both hands lunged at him like a tiger. Lion Xiaoyun used the phantom step, instantly appearing behind the man, easily taking care of the third one. He didn't stop there, and immediately charged at the fourth one. The man faced Lion Xiaoyun as he charged, and threw a punch. Lion Xiaoyun suddenly appeared behind him. By the time he reacted, it was too late. The fourth person was also taken down by him. Now, only 3 people were left. One of them knew some martial arts. At this moment, his internal energy was almost depleted. The man skilled in martial arts shouted loudly, charging at Lion Xiaoyun. His punch grazed Lion Xiaoyun's face as it flew by. Just like that, blood started to flow from his nose. Seeing that this strike was successful, the man couldn't help but feel excited. And Lion Xiaoyun concluded from this, he was just an inexperienced, third-rate fighter. At this moment, his body shot toward the man like a cannonball. Before the man could react, he was struck by a palm. He flew out 3.5 meters. The remaining 2 instantly became timid upon seeing this. They hurriedly knelt down and begged for mercy. Little did they know, everything was seen by someone hiding on the rooftop. After Lion Xiaoyun returned to his residence, he began to meditate and cultivate. He had already exhausted his internal energy from the earlier fight. If the last 2 had attacked together, it could have caused trouble. Just then, the door was knocked on. Lion Xiaoyun wondered who it could be at this time. After opening the door, it was actually the family head's daughter, Chu Yangxi. Just now, during the fight with the servant, she was the one on the rooftop. She came this time to try to win over Lion Xiaoyun, because Chu Yangxi wanted to establish support for herself, to compete for the position of family head. Without even thinking, Lion Xiaoyun agreed to her request. Before leaving, Chu Yangxi instructed Lion Xiaoyun not to tell Manager Wang. Lion Xiaoyun readily agreed, but turned around and found Manager Wang, telling him about Chu Yangxi's intention to compete for the position of family head, and how she wanted to win him over. Manager Wang was very shocked upon hearing this. Why did you tell me this? No matter what. My position is neutral. Lion Xiaoyun smiled after hearing this. I have followed you for 2 years. Do you think I don't know you support the eldest son? Manager Wang couldn't hide it. He spread his hands and said, so you want to be a double agent? As long as it benefits me. There's nothing that can't be done. 2 years ago, he saved Chu Yangxi. But they have never thanked him. Now, they need Lion Xiaoyun's help, but come to find him. After they have used him up, he firmly believes he will be ruthlessly discarded. That's why he found Manager Wang. As a condition, he hopes Manager Wang can give him some herbs, because his internal strength is currently too weak. In his previous life, he studied alchemy. He wants to refine a spiritual medicine to enhance his internal strength. Manager Wang agreed to Lion Xiaoyun's request. From that point on, Lion Xiaoyun acted as a double agent between Chu Yangxi and Manager Wang. He became a double agent, using the high-quality and diverse herbs obtained from Manager Wang to refine a spiritual medicine that increases internal strength, and take it. In addition, all the time was spent on strengthening the body. And so, another 3 years passed. Chu Yangxi was also squeezed out in the competition for the family head. In the end, he was ousted under the pretext of a beneficial marriage. Unknowingly, Lion Xiaoyun has been in the Wanjiang family for 5 years. He has prepared everything here. It's time to leave. To go to Sichuan to find the boxing champion. He approached Manager Wang, stating his intention to leave the Wanjiang family. Manager Wang refused outright. With Lion Xiaoyun's help, the eldest son successfully became the family head. He didn't want to let go of talent. Manager Wang stated that as long as Lion Xiaoyun was willing to stay, he would raise Lion Xiaoyun's salary. He would continuously provide him with herbs. But Lion Xiaoyun still refused. He told Manager Wang that he wanted to practice martial arts, to become a martial artist. Hearing his words, Manager Wang shook his head and waved his hands. The path of a martial artist is extremely dangerous. He did not believe Lion Xiaoyun could do it. So the two made a bet. Lion Xiaoyun asked Manager Wang to find a martial artist for him to compete in a match. If he lost, he would listen to Manager Wang's words and stay in the Wanjiang family for 3 years. However, unexpectedly, Manager Wang, that sly old man, actually found the strongest Wanjian team, aside from the family head, from the Wanjiang family. At this moment, he stood behind the captain of the Wanjian team, smiling proudly. However, Lion Xiaoyun did not care. He was confident he could defeat his opponent. Before the match began, Manager Wang reminded the captain of the Wanjian team that if he completely suppressed the opponent, or if the opponent surrendered, he should stop and not kill him. I still need to train him. Lion Xiaoyun, on the other hand, was very disdainful. If I win, the manager will give me a year's salary. The match began. Lion Xiaoyun knew his internal strength was weak, so he prepared for a quick battle. Thus, he took the initiative. His body shot out like a cannonball, and he slashed at the man with his sword. The man raised his sword to block, and with just one collision, Lion Xiaoyun felt the man's extraordinary skill. After blocking this sword, the man followed up with a downward slash. Lion Xiaoyun, with a sidestep, had already appeared beside the man's body. The speed was so fast that it shocked the man. However, the man was also a master. After this sword missed, he immediately transformed the slash into a sweep. But Lion Xiaoyun's speed was even faster. A quick move has already appeared behind the man. The first style of the Moon Shadow Sword, Suyun Yue, is unleashed. Sensing the danger behind him, the man quickly charged forward. Then the two collided again. One could see the countless sword shadows. After not knowing how many moves they exchanged, the two separated once more. Through the previous exchanges, the man also realized the strength of his opponent. At this moment, one could see the sword in his hand, wrapped in a layer of red light. He unleashed his sword energy, preparing to go all out. And at this time, Lion Xiaoyun's sword was also wrapped in a green light. He also unleashed his sword energy. The man shouted angrily and slashed out with his sword. Lion Xiaoyun dodged with a quick move. This strike appeared in front of him in an instant, immediately followed by a sweeping attack. After the man bent down to dodge, he swung his sword from bottom to top, forcing Lion Xiaoyun to retreat a few steps. However, once he steadied himself, Lion Xiaoyun charged towards the man again. The shockwave generated by their fight shook the watching manager Wang. His eyes were somewhat unable to open. And just at that moment, Lion Xiaoyun found an opening, kicked the man in the face, then unleashed the second style of the Moon Shadow Sword. The waning moon struck like lightning, cutting across the man's abdomen. The embarrassed and angry man shouted loudly. Raising his sword again, he charged at Lion Xiaoyun. Lion Xiaoyun also swung his sword to meet him. With a loud bang, the sound of collision rang out. One could see a sword flying out from the smoke, sticking into the ground beside them. As the smoke cleared, Lion Xiaoyun's sword was already at the man's neck. He won the contest. Lion Xiaoyun received a year's salary. When parting ways with manager Wang and Captain Wang Jian, left the Wang Jian family. Looking at Lion Xiaoyun's departing figure, the leader of the Wang Jian team couldn't help but sigh. So there was a dragon curled up at home. Manager Wang, beside him, was still somewhat puzzled. That guy's strength is about the same as yours, the leader of the Wang Jian team said. Even if the family head intervenes, he would not be his opponent. Hearing this, manager Wang was shocked all over. Could it be that from the beginning, he was not someone the Wanjiang family could possess? Who exactly is this kid? On the other side, after Lion Xiaoyun left the Wanjiang family, he did not leave immediately, but turned back to the Wanjiang family again, hiding behind the door, waiting for this person to arrive. As soon as that person came out, Lion Xiaoyun stretched out his foot. The man was tripped and fell forward. It turned out this person was a disciple of Xiao Wuman. 3 years ago, he had already noticed the mark on the man's ankle. Today is exactly the time to use it. Because Xiao Wuman is the largest intelligence organization in the martial world, Lion Xiaoyun wanted to become a distinguished guest of Xiao Wuman. Hoping the man could report to his superiors, the man disdainfully stood up. Guests of Xiao Wuman are not something you can just become. Obtaining information from Xiao Wuman comes at a cost. Your salary is simply not enough, Lion Xiaoyun said nonchalantly. The cost doesn't necessarily have to be money. The man heard this, and his expression became serious. Do you have the ability to pay with something other than money? Lion Xiaoyun slowly approached the man. About the little disciple of the master of Xiao Wuman. I have something to say. Hearing it was information about the master's disciple, the man did not dare to be negligent. He took Lion Xiaoyun to Hui building. Soon an old woman and a young woman came out to receive him. Lion Xiaoyun took just one glance and knew that the woman standing behind the old woman was the branch manager here. The woman was also quite surprised to be discovered. However, for a woman who could clearly understand the mark of Xiao Wuman, she thought there was no need to continue hiding. So she admitted it frankly. She wanted to make a deal with Lion Xiaoyun, but Lion Xiaoyun was unwilling, because the person to trade with her was not this woman, but the man in black, hiding in the beams. The man in black seeing he was discovered, suddenly leaped down from above, immediately followed by several hidden weapons shooting from his hands, only to hear the sound of metal clashing. All the hidden weapons were blocked by Lion Xiaoyun, due to the force of the hidden weapons being too great. At this moment, Lion Xiaoyun's hand holding the sword trembled slightly. He was secretly shocked. The opponent was a master, so he used the third style of the Moon Shadow Sword, Full Moon. A beam of sword light slashed towards the man in black. The man in black easily blocked it with his twin swords. Seeing that his opponent had such high strength, he concluded. This person held a significant position in the leadership of Xiaowumen. Lion Xiaoyun loudly said to him, "I am here to become a guest of Xiaowumen, not to fight you to the death." However, the man in black still had a tense expression. He asked Lion Xiaoyun to explain how he discovered this, and how he knew the highest secrets of Xiaowumen. Lion Xiaoyun firmly refused. The man's eyes instantly filled with killing intent. However, Lion Xiaoyun was not afraid of him at all. Seeing him so arrogant, the man in black suddenly disappeared from his spot. When he reappeared, he was already in front of Lion Xiaoyun, immediately followed by a barrage of attacks. Lion Xiaoyun used phantom steps to dodge. But even so, his face was still scratched by a sword. At this moment, the man in black was getting anxious. After such a long time, he had only injured the opponent's skin. He gathered his strength to prepare for a decisive blow. He abandoned defense and suddenly lunged at Lion Xiaoyun. But Lion Xiaoyun was not flustered at all. He had been waiting for this moment to arrive. He unleashed the 23rd style of the Moon Shadow Sword, Water Moon. Suddenly, countless beams of sword light appeared around him, shooting towards the man in black. The man in black was also taken aback. But at this point, it was too late to dodge. He could only brace himself, and met with a loud bang. As the smoke cleared, the man in black stood there, supporting his injured arm. If it weren't for Lion Xiaoyun controlling the sword energy to divert, the man in black would have long been dead. Lion Xiaoyun wanted to become a guest of Xiaowumen, so he did not kill him. At this point, he was already exhausted, but he forced himself to appear calm. The hand holding the sword behind him trembled uncontrollably. The man in black said coldly, "As a guest, what can you offer me?" "I buy information." Upon hearing Lion Xiaoyun's response, the man in black couldn't help but be surprised. Is there really someone who would propose an information exchange with Xiaowumen, the best intelligence organization in the Central Plains? Lion Xiaoyun said nonchalantly, "The things I know are more than you can imagine." From the moment the demon sect began to stir, to the mysterious individuals with unknown reasons, and even the method to save the youngest disciple of the Xiaowumen's leader. Hearing this, the man in black looked shocked. Is there really a way to save them? Lion Xiaoyun asked him to inform the sect leader that the young disciple's illness was caused by the demon sect. Before contracting this illness, he must have obtained some martial arts skills. Upon hearing Lion Xiaoyun's words, the man in black trembled all over. How did you know? Because that martial art was created by the heavenly demon. The sect leader's young disciple is not suffering from a strange illness, but from inner demons. The reason lies in the martial arts he practiced. That kind of martial art was created by the heavenly demon to divide the righteous martial world. Only the heavenly demon and his disciples can cure inner demons. Coincidentally, he is the fifth disciple of the heavenly demon. Taking this opportunity, Lion Xiaoyun established a friendship with the Xiaowumen, laying the foundation to become an elder of the Martial Arts Alliance in the future. The man in black chose to trust Lion Xiaoyun, and threw him a token representing the guests of the Xiaowumen. Lion Xiaoyun's first request to the Xiaowumen was to have them go to Sichuan, investigate the head coach of the Huanglong Martial Arts School, Dugu Yuzhen. Lion Xiaoyun is also preparing to go to Sichuan. He is the boxing king, one of the top 10 masters in the martial world. Yet he is a coach in a small martial arts school. Lion Xiaoyun found the Boxing King and wanted to become his disciple. But unexpectedly, he angered the Boxing King. He was thrown out. It turns out Lion Xiaoyun was at the lower door. He obtained detailed information about the Boxing King. He arrived at the Huanglong Martial Arts School in Sichuan. He wanted to join the martial arts school in order to become the Boxing King's disciple. But unexpectedly, the school owner was not there. The one coming for the interview was the Boxing King himself. Lion Xiaoyun felt secretly delighted. So he directly stated his intention. I want to become the Boxing King's disciple and join the Tianli sect to learn the Bai Lei Heart method. But unexpectedly, the Boxing King became furious upon hearing his words. A powerful aura burst forth. The Boxing King said with a murderous intent, daring to mention the Tianli sect. If you want to preserve your life, there must not be a trace of lies. Under the pressure of the Boxing King's aura, Liu Xiaoyun's mouth bled slightly. The opponent's strength was simply too formidable. Just a bit of released pressure caused him to suffer internal injuries. Unable to move, Liu Xiaoyun gritted his teeth and persisted. I learned through the lower door. The head coach of the Huanglong Martial Arts School is the current successor of the Tianli sect. Hearing this, the Boxing King's aura suddenly surged. The water cup on the table couldn't withstand the pressure and shattered. And at this moment, Lion Xiaoyun was under immense pressure. The lifeblood of the sect. The next generation heir. Don't you need it? The Boxing King said coldly. The boy in front of him, being able to endure under his aura for so long, indeed, surprised him. But the martial arts of the Tianli sect cannot be practiced solely based on talent. He did not make things difficult for Lion Xiaoyun anymore, but instead told him to leave and never come back to the Huanglong Martial Arts School. Watching the Boxing King's departing figure, Lion Xiaoyun realized the martial arts of the Tianli sect might hide unknown secrets. For the Boxing King, he might now be a potential threat to the Tianli sect. The worst-case scenario could be silencing him. So he must join the Huanglong Martial Arts School to become a disciple. Only then can he avoid being silenced. Then he found the school owner and successfully joined the Huanglong Martial Arts School. At the entrance, they happened to encounter the Boxing King, who was in a hurry to leave. The school owner kindly introduced Lion Xiaoyun to the head coach of the martial arts school. And so a week passed. Lion Xiaoyun's training was very tough every day, because the Boxing King often made things difficult for him. He wanted to make him leave the martial arts school. But Lion Xiaoyun never gave up on becoming the Boxing King's disciple. By evening, the Boxing King returned home. As soon as he opened the door, he froze in place. At that moment, Lion Xiaoyun was sitting at the dining table with his wife and child. It turned out that Lion Xiaoyun found the frontal attack ineffective, so he planned to approach those around him. He took the opportunity to get close to the Boxing King's son, Du Guxing. Then they became good friends. Once, while they were at the market, Lion Xiaoyun sensed a demonic aura. He turned around to look and saw a demon watching him from a nearby building. With over 20 years of experience living in the demon sect in his past life, this person was not just a simple madman, but an elite demon from the demon sect. He should be a member of the spirit team led by Yin Shagi. Lion Xiaoyun was quite puzzled. How could the demon sect find him so quickly? He didn't want to get entangled with the demon, worried that the Boxing King's son might be in danger. Just then, someone suddenly pointed at the demon and shouted that there was a madman over there. Looking at their attire, they were Taoists from the King Cheng sect. The demon was discovered and glared at them fiercely. Then he quickly left. The two Taoists from the King Cheng sect immediately chased after him. At this moment, Lion Xiaoyun was very confused. Why would an elite demon pretend to be a madman? He really wanted to catch that guy and ask what was going on. But then he thought about it again and felt it wasn't worth taking that risk. And so another month passed. Lion Xiaoyun had been getting close to the Boxing King's family for a month. But the Boxing King showed no signs of relenting. One day, he was wandering aimlessly on the street when he suddenly saw his master's wife hurrying by in the distance. So he approached to ask what had happened. It turns out that after my master's wife finished buying groceries and returned home, she found the house in disarray. But Du Guxing had vanished. He had searched everywhere he could think of, but found nothing. At this moment, Lion Xiaoyun remembered that his master's wife had previously mentioned that Du Guxing had a special physique. So he hurriedly asked, "You mentioned that Du Guxing has a special constitution. What is the exact name for it?" The doctor said it is a yin body. Hearing this, Lion Xiaoyun was instantly stunned. Then he immediately said seriously, "Master's wife, you need to go to the Huanglong martial arts school right now and tell Coach Dugu that Du Guxing has been kidnapped by the demon sect." How dare someone kidnap the son of the Boxing King, one of the top 10 masters? Lion Xiaoyun asked the master's wife to go to the Huanglong martial arts school and tell the Boxing King that Du Guxing has been kidnapped by the demon sect. At this moment, he realized that the demon he encountered at the market was not looking at him, but was looking at Du Guxing beside him. The demon was searching for the yin body, disguising as a madman and running around Sichuan. The demon's true identity is a member of the ghost spirit team. The leader of the ghost spirit team is Yin Shagi. In order to return to the demon sect, he plans to offer up the yin body, according to memories from his past life. His senior brother, Wei Shuyu, practiced the extreme Yang's flame technique to balance the Yang energy. One must either take extreme yin substances or find someone with a yin body to absorb their vitality. Lion Xiaoyun's doubts from his previous life were also resolved. The Boxing King had rampaged through the martial world, originally to take revenge on those who killed his son. In his previous life, Lion Xiaoyun had some understanding of Yin Shagi. His main area of activity was in Sichuan, and he knew his hiding places like the back of his hand. Now, he just needed to check them one by one. He only hoped it wouldn't be too late. On the other side, after obtaining the yin body, Yin Shagi had already set off for the demon sect. On the way, their convoy encountered an interception by the King Cheng sect's Taoists. Yin Shagi ordered his subordinates to kill the blocking Taoists. Suddenly, 3 demons leaped up to strike at the King Cheng Taoist. Faced with the simultaneous attack of 3 demons, the King Cheng Taoist could only defend passively. At this moment, Lion Xiaoyun had been hiding in the shadows, waiting for an opportunity. He knew that relying on himself alone was utterly hopeless. Perhaps teaming up with the King Cheng Taoist would give him a glimmer of hope. But Yin Shagi was a true master he could never defeat. Thinking of this made Lion Xiaoyun feel a bit of a headache. On the other side, the leader of the ghost spirit team, seeing that the battle had not been resolved for so long, suddenly appeared in front of the Taoist. His powerful aura instantly made the Taoist feel the danger of the person before him. At this moment, Liu Xiaoyun took advantage of the gap left by the ghost spirit master leaving the carriage, quickly approaching the carriage, preparing to wait for an opportunity to act. But just then, with a loud bang, the carriage shattered, and a hand reached out to attack him. The Yin Shagi had discovered him. Liu Xiaoyun met the Yin Shagi's attack with his Usura 1000 new hand. With a loud bang, Liu Xiaoyun was sent flying. After stabilizing his stance, he saw Du Guxing being held in the hand of the Yin Shagi. Then he suddenly leaped up, charging towards Du Guxing in the Yin Shagi's hand. The Yin Shagi never expected Liu Xiaoyun would make a move against Du Guxing. In this critical moment, he could only turn to evade. And just then, Dugu Xing fell from his hand. Seeing this scene, Liu Xiaoyun revealed a smile. He was certain the Yin Shagi would not disregard Dugu Xing's life. Liu Xiaoyun seized the opportunity, instantly appearing behind him, picking up Dugu Xing and swiftly appearing in the distance. The sounds of their battle also attracted the recently departed ghost spirit master. After Liu Xiaoyun saved Dugu Xing, he kindly reminded them to leave quickly, or it would be a dead end. At this time, the Yin Shagi, having lost Dugu Xing, was extremely furious. He ordered the ghost spirit master to capture Liu Xiaoyun alive, to make him die in pain. Liu Xiaoyun, holding Dugu Xing, faced the ghost spirit master's attack with one hand. As soon as they clashed, he was beaten back repeatedly. After being forced back, Liu Xiaoyun did not continue to attack the ghost spirit master, but instead turned to the three attacking Taoists, executing the 12th style of the Moon Shadow Sword. The three shrank back to avoid the incoming sword energy, scattering to evade. In the moment they left, Liu Xiaoyun came before the Taoist and handed Dugu Xing to him, asking him to leave first, while he stayed behind to buy time. The Taoist quickly took Dugu Xing and left. The Yin Shagi ordered his subordinates to chase the Taoist, while he stayed behind to deal with Liu Xiaoyun. Facing the attack of the Yin Shagi, Liu Xiaoyun could only dodge. The gap in strength was too great. Before long, he was caught by the Yin Shagi. However, he had fought against the Yin Shagi's disciple in his previous life, and was extremely familiar with his techniques. Taking advantage of this, he exchanged blows with the Yin Shagi for several rounds, but only managed to cut a small part of the Yin Shagi. This, however, completely enraged the Yin Shagi. He had always wanted to capture Liu Xiaoyun alive, so he had been cautious at every turn. Now, he was ready to go all out, to quickly end the battle. Suddenly, his momentum surged violently, and with just one palm strike, he severely injured Liu Xiaoyun. At this moment, Liu Xiaoyun was still waiting for the King Cheng sect's Taoist to escape, to bring reinforcements, but the Yin Shagi coldly told him the direction the King Cheng sect's Taoist fled. He had already set a trap there. At this point, Liu Xiaoyun realized he had underestimated the Yin Shagi. His son was kidnapped by the demonic cult, and the father finally stopped hiding, in a fit of rage, killing all the members of the demonic cult. It turned out that his father was the boxing king, one of the top 10 masters in the martial world. Just now, Liu Xiaoyun rescued Dugu Xing from the demonic cult, and let the King Cheng sect's Taoist leave first, while he stayed behind to face the Yin Shagi alone. Unfortunately, the gap in power was too great. Liu Xiaoyun was severely injured, and the ghost spirit master standing aside was also ready to join the battle at any time. However, Liu Xiaoyun still forced himself to stand up. He knew that opportunities always come with danger, as long as he could hold on until the boxing king arrived. On the other side, the Taoist from the King Cheng sect, along with Dugu Xing, had not gone far. When they encountered an ambush, there were demons in front and behind. He fell into a predicament again. Faced with so many demon attacks, the Taoist fell into despair. He had no confidence at all in escaping from these people. He closed his eyes in despair, waiting for death to arrive. But after a long time, he still did not feel any pain. So he opened his eyes. A man wrapped in electric arcs stood in front of him. One hand was grabbing a demon. It turned out that just as the blade was about to strike him, the boxing king arrived and saved him. More than 20 demons were taken down by the boxing king in just a few breaths. The scene was simply a one-sided massacre. After resolving the trouble here, he told the Taoist to take Dugu Xing and leave first, while he went to find Lian Xiaoyun. At this moment, Lion Xiaoyun was using his identity to entangle with the Yin Shagi. The Yin Shagi had great martial power, but could not stop Liu Xiaoyun, which made him very angry. The ghost spirit master beside him saw this, worried that if the delay continued, it would attract unnecessary trouble. So he disobeyed the Yin Shagi's orders, joining the battle. Liu Xiaoyun was caught off guard and was slashed across the abdomen by a sword. The Yin Shagi was enraged by the ghost spirit master's involvement. He planned to tear Lion Xiaoyun apart first, and then punish the ghost spirit master. But just then, the ghost spirit master sensed a sudden surge of massive energy behind him. As he turned his head, he was stomped down by a person descending from the sky. Upon seeing the newcomer, Lion Xiaoyun finally relaxed his tense heart. The Yin Shagi looked at the suddenly appearing man, but did not make any move, because being in the absolute peak realm, he was now too scared to move. He couldn't help but feel puzzled. In Sichuan, he only knew of the Poison King. I haven't heard of it. A master wrapped in white electric currents. At this moment, the Boxing King said, "You kidnapped my son. What do you want?" The Yin Shagi looked completely confused. When did I kidnap such a powerful person's child? Once the Yin Shagi realized, he shouted a threat. "If you want your son to be safe, you better not act rashly." The Boxing King said, with a tone full of killing intent, "It's a pity that those devils chasing the King Cheng Taoist have all been killed. I'll ask you one more time. Kidnap my son. How do you plan to die next?" Hearing this, the Yin Shagi's face instantly turned pale. The Boxing King continued, "I'll break your limbs or your danshan, and then hand you over to the King Cheng sect. That might be a nice gift," Lion Xiaoyun suggested from the side. "If it's a gift, the one under your feet can do it." After hearing this, the Boxing King couldn't help but increase his strength. With a scream, the ghost spirit master lost his life. At this moment, the Yin Shagi no longer had the heart to fight. Only by living could he seek revenge. But now, no matter how he looked at it, there was no way to escape. When he saw Lion Xiaoyun behind him, it seemed he had an idea. He turned and reached for Lion Xiaoyun. At this time, Lion Xiaoyun was seriously injured, unable to move. Instead, a smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. He was laughing at the Yin Shagi's foolishness, actually exposing his back to a peerless master. Sure enough, the next second he was caught by the Boxing King by the head. When Lion Xiaoyun opened his eyes again, it was already 10 days later. In a clinic controlled by the Tang sect, the King of Hell was very grateful for Lion Xiaoyun's life-saving grace, and stated that he could agree to any request, except to join the Tianli sect, to learn the White Thunder Heart method. Lion Xiaoyun was quite speechless after hearing this. Now, besides needing to learn the White Thunder Heart method, I don't need anything else. The Boxing King said, with a serious expression, "I have said before, you cannot learn the martial arts of the Tianli sect." Lion Xiaoyun said loudly, "Please tell me the reason I cannot learn. Only then can I completely give up." In order to dispel Liu Xiaoyun's hopes, the Boxing King was prepared to tell him the truth. Then he used his internal energy, forming an energy shield, isolating the sounds from the outside world. Then he spoke. He is naturally severed from the meridians, unable to cultivate martial arts, yet he became one of the top 10 masters in the martial world. Just now, the Boxing King told. The reason Liu Xiaoyun cannot learn the Tianli sect's techniques is that to practice the White Thunder Heart method, one must have a congenital severed meridian. The meridians of a severed body are very narrow, making it impossible to circulate internal energy smoothly. Therefore, one cannot practice martial arts at all. However, there is one exception to this rule, which is the White Thunder Heart method of the Tianli sect. The internal energy flow density of the White Thunder Heart method is very high, with great destructive power. If an ordinary person learns it, they would die from the meridians being unable to withstand the explosion. But the meridian walls of a severed body are thick, with very high elasticity, allowing them to withstand the White Thunder Heart method. After learning the truth, Lion Xiaoyun had a heavy expression. He thought there would be some hidden secret, but he didn't expect it to be about the severed meridian. If he cannot learn the White Thunder Heart method, then he will have no way to continue using the martial arts from his past life. And the Boxing King has a severed body. His meridians can resist the destructive power of the White Thunder Heart method. The Boxing King once searched for a successor, looking everywhere for someone with a severed body. But the severed body is extremely rare. If one wants to practice the White Thunder Heart method, there is another way, which is for the master to interfere with the disciple's martial arts operation. After the body can withstand the internal energy, the heart method can be taught. As long as there is hope, Liu Xiaoyun is unwilling to give up on it. He wants the Boxing King to teach him. But the Boxing King tells Liu Xiaoyun that his body is very difficult to bear. After the Boxing King's search for a severed body yielded no results, he specifically found a group of orphans to teach. But the final result was the children all innocently sacrificed without exception. After that, the Boxing King directly gave up on the inheritance of the Tianli sect. But Liu Xiaoyun is different from others. The moment he stepped into the martial world, he was prepared for sacrifice. After Liu Xiaoyun insisted repeatedly, the Boxing King agreed to his request. Before starting the internal energy operation, the Boxing King is still persuading him. But Liu Xiaoyun is not afraid of his past life at all. He is a disciple of the Heavenly Demon. What he learns is the strongest Heavenly Demon martial arts, with quite rich experience. Now, he just needs to follow the Boxing King to input into his body the White Thunder Heart method. Running the internal energy in a great cycle within his body will be enough. Although Liu Xiaoyun practiced the Heavenly Demon martial arts in his past life, he also does not dare to be careless. If he fails to keep up with the Boxing King's internal energy, he will suffer a broken meridian and die. At first, he could still cope calmly. But as the Boxing King input more internal energy into him, the density increased. Liu Xiaoyun's expression became somewhat painful, and blood spilled from the corner of his mouth. His spirit began to feel a bit dazed. Liu Xiaoyun gritted his teeth and persisted. At this moment, the Boxing King was also very worried. They had reached the final moment. If they stopped now, Liu Xiaoyun would fall into a predicament from which he could not extricate himself. He could only silently pray in his heart. As long as Liu Xiaoyun does not lose consciousness, they would finish soon. With Liu Xiaoyun's roar, a huge surge of energy erupted from his body. At this moment, the Boxing King did not know if Liu Xiaoyun would succeed. He sat there motionless, blood continuously flowing from his mouth. Just as he felt regret for his recklessness, Liu Xiaoyun suddenly emitted several arcs of electricity. Then his heart resumed beating. He slowly stood up. At this point, the Boxing King realized he had succeeded. Liu Xiaoyun successfully learned the White Thunder Heart method. This is truly fortunate. Just like that, Liu Xiaoyun officially became the Boxing King's disciple. However, at this time he had some doubts. After practicing the White Thunder Heart method, he felt that the internal energy in his body was unevenly distributed. He inexplicably lost a lot of internal energy. The Boxing King told him, "This is because the density of the internal energy in your body has increased, so the volume can only shrink. If you want to see a change, you need to increase the time spent practicing the heart method. But relying solely on this is still difficult, because the internal energy density generated by the White Thunder Heart method is high. The accumulation efficiency is very slow. However, low efficiency is only in the initial stage of the internal energy generated by the White Thunder Heart method. It has the characteristic of attracting surrounding ki. When the total amount of internal energy exceeds a certain level, the accumulation efficiency will also improve, enough to reach an efficiency comparable to the 9 major sects and the heart methods of the 5 great families. However, it requires a foundation of a full cycle of internal energy. Liu Xiaoyun was quite speechless. In 60 years, he would be an old man. The boxing king saw him frowning and tossed him a small box. When Liu Xiaoyun opened it, it was actually a secret elixir from the Shaolin Temple, the small Huandan. This elixir was obtained by the boxing king when he was young, from the abbot of the Shaolin Temple, Master Yongwen. Taking one can increase half a cycle of power. However, due to the White Thunder Heart method, Liu Xiaoyun could only gain a quarter of a cycle of internal energy after taking it. To consolidate the White Thunder Heart method, Liu Xiaoyun began under the boxing king's guidance. During dinner one evening, he found a note on the table. After reading the contents, Liu Xiaoyun was taken aback. He didn't expect the time to come so quickly. The young man had to walk back and forth on a pile of leaves 10,000 times every day, without making a sound from the leaves, and without leaving any traces on them. At the same time, he had to punch 10,000 times every day, until lightning appeared on his fists. After learning the White Thunder Heart method, Liu Xiaoyun practiced every day following his master. One day, while having dinner, he suddenly found a note on the dining table. After opening it, his expression changed. Previously, he had promised to help the little disciple of the leader of the Xiao woman with his inner demons. They arranged to meet Liu Xiaoyun outside the city in 2 days. Liu Xiaoyun felt a bit worried. 3 months had already passed, and they had only just contacted him now. He was concerned that there might be internal conflicts among them. If he cures the inner demons, they might want to eliminate him in return. How would he defend himself from the previous incident with the Yinsha ghost? He knows that even knowing the future does not guarantee everything, and he must always consider the variables. Right now, because the foundation of the White Thunder divine skill is not solid yet, he cannot use his internal energy. If he encounters danger, it will be beyond what he can bear. Before Liu Xiaoyun even left the city, he was stopped by the disciples of the Xiao woman. Under their guidance, Liu Xiaoyun arrived at the agreed location. Liu Xiaoyun pushed the door open and entered. His figure instantly froze. There were many people inside the room, all holding weapons. They didn't look very well. It seemed like they had just gone through a battle. A girl was lying on the bed. She had been tormented by inner demons to the point of losing her humanity. Liu Xiaoyun was just about to speak to treat her, when a sword light shot towards him. It turns out that the people from Xiao woman encountered an attack on their way here. They believe that Liu Xiaoyun leaked the information, because he is the only one who knows about this matter. However, Liu Xiaoyun is unaware of the time and place of their departure. He does not know. They do not know. But the people from Xiao woman still think he is the most suspicious, because Liu Xiaoyun knows a lot of information about Xiao woman, and he can also cure the inner demons of the demon sect. This inevitably makes them think that Liu Xiaoyun has some connection with the demon sect. At this moment, Liu Xiaoyun understands that it is impossible to complete the treatment easily. Xiao woman will not be easily persuaded. If it wasn't him who leaked the information, then it must have been someone from within Xiao woman who leaked it. Perhaps the person who made the little disciple sick like that is a spy from the demon sect hidden in Xiao woman. Liu Xiaoyun still wants to continue persuading them to let him treat the little disciple first. But these people from Xiao woman insist that he is one of the demon sect. They are preparing to capture him to negotiate with the demon sect leader. Liu Xiaoyun helplessly rubbed his head. He didn't want it to be like this. He heard someone loudly say to let him speak. Immediately, a powerful pressure descended from the sky. The person who came was his master, the boxing king Liu Xiaoyun. He asked his master to control this group of people. Stop, don't hurt them. Seeing the sudden appearance of the person, the people from Xiaowumen all raised their swords and charged at him. The boxing king merely moved his finger, and these people instantly became immobile. Liu Xiaoyun couldn't help but marvel at his master's power. Just by the movement of his finger, he suppressed everyone on the opposite side. After several breaths, everyone in the room was subdued by the boxing king. Liu Xiaoyun then walked to the girl's bedside. On the table beside her lay the martial arts he practiced, Taiyu divine skill. Liu Xiaoyun picked it up and flipped through it. It was indeed the same as he remembered. He and his master were ready to start treating the girl. By checking her pulse, he learned that the girl's meridians were not yet destroyed. Liu Xiaoyun infused a trace of internal energy into the girl, awakening her consciousness. Although there would be some side effects, there were some things to advise. If there is no will from the patient themselves as support, it is impossible to overcome the inner demons. After regaining consciousness, Liu Xiaoyun helped the girl sit up. He guided the girl to circulate her energy along the path he indicated. She must not lose consciousness midway. Liu Xiaoyun placed his palm on her back. A trace of internal energy slowly entered her body. At that moment, he realized the girl's dantian was shriveled. Her meridians were narrow. There was a lot of impure energy. If any mistakes occurred during the circulation process, he would be falsely accused of being a spy for the evil sect. He would be hunted down by the underworld for the rest of his life. The reason for falling into inner demons was due to mastering a flawed mental technique. Even experts couldn't detect it, because a deadly poison was hidden within the secret technique. The more skilled the practice, the more toxins accumulate in the body, eventually extending to the heart chamber. In fact, the method to treat inner demons is quite simple. As long as the toxins in the body are eliminated, it will be fine. Soon, the toxins were forced out of the girl's body by Liu Xiaoyun. Immediately after that, he wiped the toxins off the surface of the girl's body. Because he was afraid that the toxins just expelled from the body would re-enter. At this time, her body, Liu Xiaoyun noticed the mole on the girl's collarbone and the scar on her neck. Before leaving, he instructed the people from Xiaowumen to regularly bring the girl to see him, because removing inner demons cannot be solved in one go. After leaving, Lian Xiaoyun was troubled, because he was worried that his master would misunderstand him as a member of the demonic sect. The previous kidnapping incident was orchestrated by him. The boxing champion also noticed that Lian Xiaoyun's eyes were off after he came out. Lian Xiaoyun expressed his thoughts. Why not ask me what my relationship with the demonic sect is? Upon hearing his words, the boxing champion suddenly turned around to look at him. I believe what I saw with my own eyes, what I heard with my own ears, what I felt. Isn't Lian Xiaoyun just fine? After listening to his master's words, Lian Xiaoyun stood there foolishly in a daze. He didn't expect his master to trust him so much. And so 2 years passed. Lian Xiaoyun's White Thunder Heart technique had already laid a foundation, no longer needing his master to assist. Today he can finally take the small elixir. Lian Xiaoyun excitedly took out the small elixir from his pocket, without waiting for his master to finish speaking. He swallowed it in one gulp. Then he sat cross-legged to absorb the medicinal power, absorbing the spiritual medicine. In his previous life, he didn't know how many times he had done this. With the help of the small elixir's medicinal power, Lian Xiaoyun opened up the Ren and Du meridians in one breath. The internal energy surged like a tide. With a punch thrown out, with a loud bang, a huge hole was punched in the wall. Now, he can use his internal energy normally. At night, Lian Xiaoyun walked alone on the road, thinking about how to quickly gather a century's worth of power. Suddenly he noticed a shadow behind him had been following him. At this moment, his hand was already gripping the knife at his waist. Then his figure vanished into thin air. In the next second, Lion Xiaoyun had already. The knife was at the throat of the pursuer. A young man was being followed by a lewd woman at night. After being discovered, the girl mainly invited him to the brothel and let the top courtesan serve him closely. Just now, Lion Xiaoyun was walking alone on the road at night, suddenly discovered someone was following behind. In an instant, Lion Xiaoyun subdued that person. When that person removed the veil, it turned out to be a girl. At this moment, Lion Xiaoyun noticed the mole on the girl's shoulder. It was actually the little disciple of the leader of the Summer No Gate. Now, he has completely recovered. This time he came over specifically to thank Lion Xiaoyun for saving his life. Lion Xiaoyun was quite disdainful. It's been 2 years already. And now, you think of coming to express gratitude. Clearly lacking sincerity. The girl explained that it took time for her body to recover. So it delayed for 2 lives. As a person, Lion Xiaoyun instantly saw through her little trick. She must have come to find him for some reason. So he coldly said, "It shouldn't be just to express gratitude. That you sent a young lady to come to me, right?" It turned out the girl came over to maintain a friendly relationship with Lion Xiaoyun. Lion Xiaoyun had no good feelings for them at all. 2 years passed without coming to express thanks. Now that there is something, you only know to come find him. In fact, during this time, the Summer No Gate has been sending people to find him. But each time, they were stopped by his master, the Boxing King. Because the Boxing King was worried that external matters would affect his cultivation. After learning the truth, the misunderstanding between Lion Xiaoyun and the girl was resolved. The girl invited Lion Xiaoyun to discuss in detail at the Huatian building in 2 days. After saying that, the girl disappeared without a trace. 2 days later, Lion Xiaoyun arrived at the Huatian building as promised. He also wanted to see what the girl was really up to. When he just walked into the brothel, the top courtesan, Hua Tiannu, was waiting for him there. The appearance of Hua Tiannu instantly caused a stir among the guests on the first floor, but was rejected by Lion Xiaoyun. He wanted to be alone, without anyone's company. When he got upstairs, he saw the little disciple of the Summer No Gate. This time, the main purpose of finding Lion Xiaoyun was to build a good relationship. This was also their first formal meeting. The girl said her name was Qian Jiling. To thank Lion Xiaoyun for his kindness. Qian Jiling represents the Summer No Gate as his sole contact. This is a treatment only reserved for esteemed guests. However, Lion Xiaoyun did not take it seriously. This made Qian Jiling somewhat annoyed. The little disciple of the prestigious Summer No Gate isn't willing to act as his contact. Qian Jiling angrily said, "If you are unwilling, then forget it." But Lion Xiaoyun had no reason to refuse, because the information provided by the Summer No Gate is quite valuable. He could obtain information different from his previous life, or information that was not yet grasped. Regardless of whether they have other intentions, Lion Xiaoyun would utilize whatever he could. After that, Qian Jiling had not seen the Gatemaster for more than half a month. During this time, there was no information from him. Today Lion Xiaoyun came to the martial arts hall to practice as usual. But he saw Qian Jiling at the martial arts hall. He has now joined the martial arts hall. He became the second disciple of the sect leader. This makes it more convenient for him to be Lion Xiaoyun's contact. As soon as the two met, Qian Jiling proposed to spar a bit. He believes he has no rivals among his peers. At the same time, he wants to test Lion Xiaoyun's martial prowess. Lion Xiaoyun saw through his thoughts. However, since the last encounter with the Yin Sha ghost, he had not met a decent expert. Lion Xiaoyun also wanted to know what level his own strength had reached, and how strong the beloved disciple of the Summer No Gate really is. Qian Jialing took the initiative to strike first. Before Lion Xiaoyun could react, Qian Jialing was already behind him. With a sword swing, Lion Xiaoyun's speed was even faster. At the moment he struck, he had already vanished. He reappeared behind Qian Jialing. Qian Jialing is indeed a genius of the Summer No Gate. In this extremely short time, he quickly reacted, dodging Lion Xiaoyun's attack. In just a moment, the two exchanged several moves. At this time, Qian Jialing also realized Lion Xiaoyun's extraordinary strength. He prepared to go all out. But even so, Lion Xiaoyun only used the Moon Shadow Sword. The third move, Full Moon. Qian Jialing's sword was cut into two pieces. With just one move, the outcome was decided. Qian Jialing felt a bit disappointed, thinking he was already quite outstanding among his peers. But unexpectedly, he was defeated by Lion Xiaoyun in one strike. Seeing how powerful he was, Qian Jialing suggested Lion Xiaoyun participate in the Dragon and Phoenix Conference. That is a martial arts event for rising stars in the martial arts world, gathering together to hold martial arts activities. Lion Xiaoyun did not pay him any mind, saying he needed to go back to cultivate, and turned to leave. Qian Jialing shouting alone. By night, Lion Xiaoyun was practicing alone. Suddenly, Qian Jialing appeared in black clothing, anxiously saying, "Help me." A brothel courtesan was taken away by the righteous poison snake sword. Just because she was too beautiful, they wanted to force a match. Just now, Qian Jialing from the Summer No Gate came to find Lion Xiaoyun, seeking help. A single brothel woman made the Summer No Gate take it so seriously. Yuan Xiaoyun realized this woman was not simple. Originally, he didn't want to go, but Qian Jialing told him the experts from the Summer No Gate would take some time to arrive, and he alone could not ensure the rescue of the Huatian woman. The kidnapper is a righteous figure known as the Poison Snake Sword, a highly renowned top expert. To ensure the safety of the hostage, the two prepared to work together. Qian Jialing handed him a signal flare. If anyone finds the hostage, they would detonate the signal flare, gather together to attack. Then the two separated to search. At this time, in a certain house, Huatian woman had just woken up from her coma. The poison snake sword was guarding her side. Seeing her wake up, the poison snake sword lewdly touched her face. "You are destined to live with me as my wife. So open your heart to me now." Suddenly, with a loud bang, the wall beside was split open by the sword energy. The poison snake sword retreated accordingly, and a figure slowly emerged. It was none other than Lion Xiaoyun who had found this place. Lion Xiaoyun used the sword sheath to lightly tap the neck of the Huatian woman, and thus unblocked her acupoints. This move also shocked the poison snake sword, making him not dare to underestimate the pursuer. He raised his sword and shot forward like a cannonball. Lion Xiaoyun also drew his sword to defend. The sword techniques of the poison snake sword were strange and tricky. As agile as a poisonous snake, Liu Xiaoyun found it somewhat difficult to cope. So he used the 12th move of the illusion sword, Moon Shadow Sword. The shrinking moon appeared in an instant. Several streams of sword energy shot towards the poison snake sword. But this was not over yet. The illusion sword was merely for distraction. Immediately after, Liu Xiaoyun executed the second move. The remnant moon struck like lightning towards him. With a clang sound, the poison snake sword blocked this deadly strike. Lion Xiaoyun quickly retreated. Before the poison snake sword could react, Lion Xiaoyun used the 8th move of the Moon Shadow Sword. In just a moment, Lion Xiaoyun appeared in front of the poison snake sword and slashed towards his neck. This sword was as fast as lightning. After all, the poison snake sword was also a master, and in an instant, he reacted. his body slightly tilted to avoid the vital point. The sword light grazed his shoulder. He was injured, which completely enraged the poison snake sword. He then unleashed several streams of sword energy towards Lion Xiaoyun. Lion Xiaoyun raised his sword to meet them. But at that moment, the corner of the poison snake sword's mouth curled into a slight smile, followed by several dark arrows shooting out. Seeing the dark arrows hit Lion Xiaoyun, the poison snake sword revealed a smile. But at that moment, Lion Xiaoyun suddenly appeared at his side. A punch infused with the power of lightning struck his face. The one just hit by the dark arrow was Lion Xiaoyun's shadow. At this moment, Lion Xiaoyun saw a token. It fell from the poison snake sword's embrace. He picked it up and took a look. He couldn't help but frown slightly. This token was indeed the identity token of the ghost spirit team. A righteous master shouldn't have a token from the demonic sect. Lion Xiaoyun asked the poison snake sword where the token came from. At first, he didn't want to say. There was no choice. Lion Xiaoyun had to use some means. The poison snake sword then revealed everything. It turned out that this token was related to a well-known family in Sichuan, the Zjiazhuang. He didn't know the specifics. He just helped handle a few matters. Lion Xiaoyun originally thought the master of Zjiazhuang was a follower of the demonic sect. But the poison snake sword believed the master of Zjiazhuang should have no connection to the demonic sect. During the previous transaction, he didn't notice the Shijia master had any good feelings towards the ghost spirit team. They should have just been using each other. In his previous life, Lion Xiaoyun knew the Yin Sha ghost had traded a lot of wealth with the people of Sichuan. Just as he was lost in thought, Qian Jialing arrived with the masters of the Xia woman. He saw the subdued poison snake sword. Looking shocked, he blamed Lion Xiaoyun for not sending a signal in advance. Lion Xiaoyun told him it was because the situation was urgent. There was no time to send a signal. But the result was good. Qian Jialing did not continue to question. He ordered his subordinates to control the poison snake sword, while he went to support the weak Hua Tiannu. Hua Tiannu expressed her gratitude to Lion Xiaoyun. Lion Xiaoyun, today Xia woman owes me a favor. I will come to collect it later. As soon as he finished speaking, Lion Xiaoyun vanished in a flash. He was going to give Zjiazhuang a beating, to see what kind of deal they had with the demonic sect. He was the head of a martial arts family in Sichuan. Yet he knelt and bowed to a teenager in his teens. Just now, Lion Xiaoyun learned from the poison snake sword that Zjiazhuang had a deal with the demonic sect. He planned to sneak into Zjiazhuang alone at night. He was not good at stealth and infiltration, so he knocked out 2 guards, changed his clothes to disguise himself, and blended into Zjiazhuang. When he entered the estate, he found that there were guards patrolling everywhere. As if something big was about to happen, Lion Xiaoyun looked around the estate, searching for the room where the master of the estate was. He needed to find the master before being discovered. At that moment, he saw a house with guards at the entrance, and they all had the guard team's badges at their waists. Thus, Lion Xiaoyun concluded that this was the master's residence. He hurriedly ran to the door looking anxious, thinking he needed to see the master quickly. The guard at the entrance asked what was the matter. The poison snake sword has been captured. Upon hearing this, the guard anxiously wanted to let him in to report to the master. But just then, a voice came, "Wait a moment." It turned out to be the leader of the West Sword team. He continued to ask Lion Xiaoyun, "Who captured the poison snake sword?" Lion Xiaoyun honestly replied, "Xia woman." At this, the leader of the West Sword team looked puzzled. In Xia woman, there shouldn't be any experts capable of defeating the poison snake sword. Lion Xiaoyun hurriedly explained, "The little disciple of the master of Xia woman is nearby. So it is indeed possible if it was the master's disciple." Seeing that the leader of the West Sword team seemed to believe him, Lion Xiaoyun wanted to enter to report to the master. But just then, the leader of the West Sword team changed the subject regarding the poison snake sword. It seems our West Sword team is investigating this, right? Lion Xiaoyun realized the situation was exposed, so he no longer hid it. Taking the initiative, he drew his sword and slashed at the leader of the West Sword team. The leader of the West Sword team ordered his subordinates to take the master to a safe place, while having his subordinates set up the 6 harmonies sword formation to confront him. Although they couldn't injure Lion Xiaoyun for the time being, but Lion Xiaoyun couldn't break through in a short time. Just as he was thinking about what to do next, the leader of the sword team suddenly launched a sneak attack from the side. Caught off guard, Lion Xiaoyun was scratched on the shoulder. This situation was very unfavorable for him. If he delayed any longer, the people from the West family village would soon arrive. At that time, it would not be easy to think of escaping. So Lion Xiaoyun prepared to settle it quickly. He unleashed a powerful move, the Moon Shadow Sword. The 19th move, Wave Moon. He suddenly leaped into the air, swinging his sword. Countless sword lights fell like flowers scattered by a celestial maiden. And at this moment, on the other side, the Lord of West Family Village, Shipu Jun, was hurriedly fleeing with 2 subordinates. One of the subordinates advised the Lord that they should go back and clarify things. After all, it was the poisoned snake sword. One person caused trouble, while the other urged the Lord to escape quickly. Just as Shipu Jun was hesitating, Lion Xiaoyun appeared in front of them. Seeing this, Shipu Jun immediately knelt down and begged for mercy. Lion Xiaoyun threw the ghostly token he obtained from the poisoned snake sword in front of him. Seeing the token, Shipu Jun was somewhat puzzled. How could the token be in his hands? Lion Xiaoyun noticed he was being a bit evasive, so he took out a sword from his bosom and threw it in front of him. Coldly he said, "If you are not honest, I will kill you." Seeing this, Shipu Jun immediately changed his expression. He flatteringly said, "I made a deal with the Yin Sha ghost. The Yin Sha ghost wanted to make money with the money in his hands, so he gave me a sum of money to do business." Lion Xiaoyun also did not expect that the Yin Sha ghost would dare to invest the war funds given by the leader, and that the West family village's dealings with the Yin Sha ghost were all forced. After all, if they dared to resist, the entire West family village would be gone. Lion Xiaoyun then told Shipu Jun that the Yin Sha ghost had already been killed by him, and that he had handed him over to the King Cheng sect. Lion Xiaoyun took the ledger from the servant. He intended to take all the money earned by the Yin Sha ghost, as long as Shipu Jun kept his mouth shut. The money from the demonic cult would become his first pot of gold. Upon learning that the Yin Sha ghost was killed by Lion Xiaoyun, Shipu Jun immediately changed his attitude. He expressed his loyalty to Lion Xiaoyun. He was impressed by Lion Xiaoyun's strength and magnanimity. Shipu Jun revered Lion Xiaoyun as the Grand Elder of the West family. Seeing his persistence, Lion Xiaoyun did not refuse him, and threw the ledger to Shipu Jun, asking him to clean up the matter with the Yin Sha ghost. Even after becoming the Grand Elder of the West family, Lion Xiaoyun would not stay in the West family village. This action instantly moved Shipu Jun greatly, believing that Lion Xiaoyun was considering his face. After the matters of the West family village were settled, a few days later, Qian Jialun found Lion Xiaoyun, bringing what he was looking for. Lion Xiaoyun took it and looked at it. It was indeed the problematic martial art, the red fire divine skill, which was spread by the heavenly demon into the righteous martial world. Based on yang energy, the flame skill should be able to restrain the heavenly yin body of Du Gu Xing. Some time ago, Lion Xiaoyun went to eat with his master and Qian Jialing. He saw that his master was gloomy, and knew right away that his master must be worried about his son. Du Gu Xing was a heavenly yin body, and to avoid the demonic cult's boxing king, he brought his whole family to King Cheng Mountain. However, hiding on King Cheng Mountain was not a solution. To alleviate his master's worries, Lion Xiaoyun asked Qian Jialing to send a message to the leader of the Huang merchant group, saying he had a way to treat his son's inner demons. Now, the leader of the Huang merchant group has brought his son, and has already arrived in Sichuan. He is not a doctor, yet he cured the son of the richest man in the martial world. Not only did he not ask for any money, but he also gave all his money to the other party, asking him to help buy spices. It turns out that just now, Lion Xiaoyun had successfully treated him. The inner demons of the son of the leader of the first merchant group in the Central Plains. His son developed these inner demons because he learned the martial arts techniques spread by the heavenly demon, the red fire divine skill, which caused the inner demons. This is particularly relevant for him, who was a disciple of the heavenly demon in his previous life, easily within reach. The leader of the merchant group wanted to thank him, and was willing to offer 1 or 2 gold pieces as a token of gratitude. But Lion Xiaoyun did not accept it. Instead, he gave all his money to him to help him purchase spices, because Lion Xiaoyun knew that next autumn, in the waters near Zhejiang, where the Huang merchant group is located, due to the rampant pirates, trade would decrease, causing spice prices to soar. This would be an important asset for him to embark on the path of the elders. Although Lion Xiaoyun did not take the leader's money, he received a VIP token from the Huang merchant group. In order to become an elder of the Martial Arts Alliance, Lion Xiaoyun needs the power of the Huang merchant group. During this time, he received support from the Summer sect, and also gained what should have belonged to the leader of the demon sect, Huang. It was only a matter of time before he was discovered. So Lion Xiaoyun prepared to avoid the spotlight. Just then, Lion Xiaoyun suddenly felt danger behind him. When he turned around, he saw a huge fist coming at him. In a hurry, Lion Xiaoyun drew his sword. A wave of sword energy was unleashed. It turned out to be his master, the Boxing King, who wanted to test his strength. Liu Xiaoyun did not disappoint his master. At this point, he was already able to apply lightning to his weapon. The ability to manipulate lightning has also reached the realm of Thunder Spirit. Liu Xiaoyun followed his master to the Tang sect in Sichuan. The Tang sect in Sichuan is one of the 5 great families of the martial arts world. They hold immense power. It is a place that all martial artists fear, because they are all a bunch of madmen using poison and hidden weapons. A group of lunatics with mechanical traps. And the Boxing King, due to his favor with the Tang sect's master, the Poison King Tang Baijun's daughter, is able to come and go freely in the Tang family. This time, the Boxing King brought Liu Xiaoyun to visit the Tang family, mainly to ask for the heavenly poison pill for Liu Xiaoyun. The heavenly poison pill is the Tang family's secret elixir. But unexpectedly, the Poison King readily agreed. The Boxing King expressed his gratitude repeatedly, stating that he would definitely repay this favor in the future. The heavenly poison pill can only be taken by masters who have entered the transformation realm. Only then can it be consumed. The Poison King did not expect that Liu Xiaoyun, who is 2 years younger than his daughter, had already reached the transformation realm. So he took the initiative to test Liu Xiaoyun's strength. Liu Xiaoyun only felt countless poisonous snakes wrapping around him, creating a strong sense of pressure. Beads of sweat rolled down his cheeks. Then he trembled all over, breaking free from that pressure. The Poison King couldn't help but marvel at Liu Xiaoyun's extraordinary talent. Tang Shuyan brought them to the Medicine King's residence to get the medicine. He handed the medicine to Liu Xiaoyun and instructed him to come here every half-month to get the medicine. He would provide him with 2 years' worth of heavenly poison pills. After Liu Xiaoyun put away the medicine, he prepared to turn and leave, but was called back by Tang Shuyan. He wanted to spar with Liu Xiaoyun. Unfortunately, Liu Xiaoyun was unwilling to compete with the poison users of the Tang sect. Poison users inject poison into their bodies to enhance their martial arts. The poison technique can only be learned by direct blood relatives, a secret of the Tang family. However, because the poison in their bodies prevents pregnancy, female poison users are rarely seen. Moreover, those poison users are all madmen. In a certain sense, Liu Xiaoyun believes that the poison technique is more terrifying than the demonic technique. Furthermore, there is no benefit in sparring with Tang Shuyan. Seeing that Liu Xiaoyun was unwilling, Tang Shuyan proposed a bet with him. If he wins, she would give him something. At first, Liu Xiaoyun thought the heavenly poison pill was quite good. But when he saw what Tang Shuyan took out, Liu Xiaoyun's eyes widened. This item was too precious. He couldn't refuse. He was the most powerful blacksmith in the martial arts world, who burned his own soul before dying to forge 5 spirit swords. What Tang Shuyan took out was one of them, a famous sword called Janlu. Liu Xiaoyun simply could not resist its temptation. The sword of Wu Yezi is a treasure they would risk their lives to obtain, even if it means betting their lives. But he didn't have anything of high value to use as a bet, and Tang Shuyan didn't need anything valuable from him. He ran in front of the boxing champion, hoping that if he won, the champion would grant him a request. The champion nodded in agreement, seeing that the master agreed to them to spar. Liu Xiaoyun accepted his challenge. Although he didn't know what Tang Shuyan's purpose was, he took out the Janlu as a bet. He was confident he would definitely not lose to Liu Xiaoyun. But that didn't matter. The divine sword Janlu. Liu Xiaoyun was determined to have it. The opponent was a poison user. If he didn't want to be poisoned, he had to be fully alert. At the beginning, Liu Xiaoyun used the first move of the Moon Shadow Sword technique, Crescent Moon. Before the sword hand even fell, Tang Shuyan had already appeared in front of him. A poisonous palm struck his arm. Feeling the poison invading his body, Liu Xiaoyun used the White Thunder Divine Skill to neutralize it. But before he could completely neutralize the poison in his body, Tang Shuyan transformed into a shadow and attacked again. From the opponent's fierce assault, Liu Xiaoyun sensed the killing intent. This made him feel puzzled. It was just a simple spar. Why was it so desperate? But since the opponent was like this, he had no choice but to go all out. Immediately, he used the 21st move of the Moon Shadow Sword technique, Worship Moon. At the moment Tang Shuyan blocked the attack, Liu Xiaoyun had already appeared in front of Tang Shuyan. He threw a punch. Tang Shuyan was also a genius after all. In an instant, she struck out a palm to meet it. With a bang, both were knocked back a few steps. Tang Shuyan's palm was surrounded by electric light. Liu Xiaoyun's fist was covered in poison gas. Why are you fighting so hard? If you don't answer. The words were not finished. Liu Xiaoyun sensed danger behind him. He instinctively tilted his head to the side. A hidden weapon grazed his cheek and flew past. This was the Tang sect's unique hidden weapon, the soul-chasing flying disc. If it had been any later, it would have been a big deal. At this moment, the toxins in Liu Xiaoyun's body were increasing. He forced himself to stay conscious and not faint. He activated the White Thunder Divine Skill to start dispelling the toxins in his body. Tang Shuyan also knew that she had to end the fight before he expelled the toxins and stopped the battle. Liu Xiaoyun faced Tang Shuyan, charging at him, and used the 23rd move of the Moon Shadow Sword, Water Moon. The two collided, producing a loud explosion sound. As the smoke cleared, only Liu Xiaoyun remained standing in the arena. Tang Shuyan had failed. Liu Xiaoyun walked up to her. Seeing you give it your all, I feel there must be another reason. What exactly are you hiding? At this moment, The Boxing King in the distance spoke, "It should be because of me." It turns out that when Tang Shuyan was young, she was kidnapped by the underworld Huangyun gang. At that time, the Boxing King wiped out the Huangyun gang and rescued her. Tang Shuyan saw the Boxing King's martial arts and had the thought of giving up her family's martial arts to become the Boxing King's disciple. But the Boxing King rejected her request and did not take Tang Shuyan as a disciple. This time, seeing the Boxing King take on a disciple, she felt jealous. So, without considering the consequences, she made an excessive demand. Tang Shuyan sincerely apologized to Liu Xiaoyun. Liu Xiaoyun turned to look at his master, but saw him shake his head at him, so he didn't say much. After Tang Shuyan took her leave, Liu Xiaoyun asked his master why he stopped him. It turns out the Boxing King initially refused to take Tang Shuyan as a disciple, not because she was a woman or lacked talent, but because she was not from a noble lineage. But now, he accepted Liu Xiaoyun as a disciple. Liu Xiaoyun is not completely hopeless either. If the truth is told to Tang Shuyan now, it will only make her even sadder. Sometimes not knowing the truth is actually a good thing. The next day, Liu Xiaoyun found his master and took out the red fire divine skill he had obtained earlier. This is a fire technique based on yang energy that can help Du Guoxin control her yin body. The Boxing King was deeply moved. This made him even less able to see through Liu Xiaoyun in front of him. Soon, 2 years passed. Liu Xiaoyun had been taking the heavenly poison pill for 2 years. His internal strength had increased significantly, basically reaching its peak. Now, he could finally use the white thunder technique perfectly. Plus, he had dealt with the kind of poison that was like lead poison, which had no effect on Liu Xiaoyun. Now Liu Xiaoyun believed it was time for him to hone his skills in the martial world. Coincidentally, his master, the Boxing King, had the same intention. Previously, Chongjiling mentioned the Dragon and Phoenix meeting of the Martial Alliance. Liu Xiaoyun believed this was his first step into the 9 major sects and the power center of the 5 great families to become an elder of the Martial Alliance. The first stop of this trip was Zhejiang. On the day of departure, Liu Xiaoyun arrived at the convoy, and his expression changed. A man had just said that the woman was too ugly and wouldn't be able to get married. The next second, 6 poison needles appeared in his chest. It turned out, the woman he was talking about was Tang Shuyan, the young lady of the Tang clan. Originally, Liu Xiaoyun didn't want to travel with him, but considering his expertise in mechanisms and hidden weapons, it would be helpful for future treasure hunting in the Heavenly Machine Cave. So he agreed to travel the martial world together. But they hadn't gone far when they encountered the Tiger Gang collecting tolls. Originally, paying the toll would allow them to pass, but Chongjiling and Tang Shuyan's beauty made the robbers have ill intentions, wanting to capture the two for a friendly and in-depth exchange. At this moment, the leader walked up to Tang Shuyan, and with a gust of wind, Tang Shuyan's right eye, covered by her hair, was revealed. Seeing this scene, the man was so scared that he retreated 3 miles and spat in disgust. He said it was really disappointing. It seems you won't be able to get married with that face. But anyway, you won't be able to get married. How about being my concubine? Actually, as long as you cover the scar, you look quite good. Then, the man turned to his brothers behind him and said, "Today, you have a new sister-in-law." Just as the man was feeling proud, he suddenly felt a pain in his chest. He turned around to take a look, and there were already 6 poison needles stuck in his chest. Before he could speak, the poison had already taken effect. The man fell to the ground with a thud. Next came Tang Shuyan's one-sided massacre. Soon, the remaining mountain bandits were all taken care of by her. Previously, she had heard the bandits talking that they had captured some women in the village yesterday. Tang Shuyan hoped that Liu Xiaoyun could help her to rescue the people together. Since he knew about this, Liu Xiaoyun also thought he couldn't ignore it. At this time, the leader of the Tiger Gao Ping was drinking flower wine with women on both sides. Suddenly, subordinate rushed in, shouting loudly that someone was attacking. The bandit leader Mo Ping thought it was the government troops coming to encircle them, and couldn't help but angrily ask if it was the government troops. A few of his subordinates hurriedly replied, "No. A man and a woman are attacking from different directions." Mo Ping heard that it was just two people, and dissatisfiedly said, "There are only two people. Why report to me?" The next words from his subordinate made him sit up straight. The intruders were actually from the Tang family, but there were only two of them, so he wasn't too worried. He instructed his subordinates to focus their attacks on the woman, while he would deal with the man himself. At this time, Liu Xiaoyun was at the entrance of the stronghold, discussing with the guards at the door to let him in to wash the blood-stained clothes. And just then, a bald man fell from the sky. The person was Mo Ping, the leader of the Tiger Gang. He was once an officer who fought alongside the general, a man who survived from a hellish battlefield. But he was directly knocked out by Lion Xiaoyun with one kick. They successfully rescued the captured woman. Then, Lion Xiaoyun distributed the wealth from the stronghold to the woman to let them leave. When they reached Shaanxi, Lion Xiaoyun and Tang Shuyan bravely stormed the Tiger Gang. The story of their rescue had already spread in the martial world. Everyone in the streets and alleys was discussing the two of them, moved by their chivalrous actions. Lion Xiaoyun never imagined in his dreams that his unintentional act would bring him such great benefits. To become a founding elder of the Martial Arts Alliance, one not only needs strong martial arts skills, but also a good reputation. This time, gaining a reputation for chivalry undoubtedly had a significant impact on him. After winning at the Dragon and Phoenix Conference, Lion Xiaoyun would publicly reveal his identity. At that time, everyone would praise him as a true hero. At the same time, there was another piece of news. A madman possessed by demons had appeared in Shaanxi. He killed a disciple of the Huashan sect. In a fit of rage, the leader of the Huashan sect issued a kill order. The government sealed off the entire Shaanxi. Before that guy was caught, Lion Xiaoyun and the others could only stay in Shaanxi. Although Lion Xiaoyun didn't want to waste time here, he also didn't want to actively capture that demon. If the demon was caught by him, a young rookie, wouldn't that be a slap in the face for the Huashan sect? The streets were filled with Huashan disciples investigating the demon's whereabouts. At this time, a Huashan disciple walked up to Lion Xiaoyun, wanting to check his identity badge. Lion Xiaoyun didn't carry anything to prove his identity, so he had to take him to the inn to let Tang Shuyan help verify his identity. Seeing that it was the young lady of the Tang clan from Sichuan, the Huashan disciple immediately changed to a smiling face. The originally arrogant expression towards Lion Xiaoyun disappeared in an instant. He bowed and said, "I am from Huashan." The Taoist priest Tian Yudo was flattering Tang Shuyan with a smiling face. At this moment, Qian Jialing saw Lion Xiaoyun and pulled Lion Xiaoyun away. Tian Yudo saw another stunning beauty and hurriedly bowed to greet her. But Qian Jialing ignored him and quickly took Lion Xiaoyun away. Once they were far away, Qian Jialing told Lion Xiaoyun, "That person is not simple. He is the only disciple of the Plum Blossom Sword God of the martial world." Qian Jialing brought Lion Xiaoyun to the black market. At the black market, Lion Xiaoyun spent 20 gold to buy a small list. The small list contained an internal injury medicine only available in Wudang. Although it can't increase internal strength like a spiritual medicine, it can save a life at a critical moment. It's still quite valuable. When they returned to the inn, they saw a strong man lying in front of Tang Shuyan, his face full of pain, poisoned and in imminent danger. It turned out that just a moment ago, The man saw a stunningly beautiful woman, sitting alone by the roadside, and approached her to invite her for a drink. But he didn't expect to be rejected outright. The man was the local gang leader of the Tian Sha gang, and someone actually dared to disrespect him. Furious and humiliated, he wanted to teach the ungrateful woman a lesson. But before he could raise his hand, he felt a sharp pain in his chest. Then he collapsed to the ground. Unbeknownst to him, he had already been poisoned. Seeing that he could still hold on for so long after being poisoned, Lion Xiaoyun thought his skills should be quite good. He could be considered a local bully. Considering these factors, he should be of great use. So Lion Xiaoyun persuaded Tang Shuyan to let the man go, and to leave the man to him to handle. Lion Xiaoyun leaned down and quietly said to the man, "If you help me with a small favor, not only will I help you detoxify, but I will also treat this matter as if it never happened." The man saw that he could save his life, agreed immediately. By evening, Zhang was somewhat indignant. He is the leader of the Heavenly Kill Gang. When has he ever suffered such humiliation? So he gathered his subordinates, preparing to take advantage of the night to eliminate Liu Xiaoyun. But just as he picked up his weapon and was about to leave, the door was suddenly broken open with great force. The subordinate who was about to leave was knocked away. Zhang looked outside the door in panic. At this moment, Liu Xiaoyun walked in calmly. Behind him lay the leader of the Heavenly Kill Gang. It turns out, Liu Xiaoyun wanted Zhang to use the power of the underworld to help find the location of the rampaging demon. Then he would hand the demon over to the Huashan sect. This way, he could lift the blockade, and also make the Huashan sect owe him a favor. Not long after, Zhang told Liu Xiaoyun that he had found the demon's location. Liu Xiaoyun disguised himself and prepared to go see how the Huashan Taoists captured the demon. When he arrived, the demon was already surrounded by Huashan disciples. Looking at their positions, Liu Xiaoyun recognized this as the plum blossom formation. With the sword formation, 5 top experts had trapped the demon who was a top expert. In the formation, the demon could only passively take hits. Suddenly, the demon roared. Instantly, his momentum surged. Then, he recklessly charged at one of them. Tian, you Taoist saw this. In order to save his companion's life, he left his position without permission, charging towards the demon. Seeing someone rushing towards him from behind, the demon revealed a smile, then suddenly leaped up, turning to accelerate towards the gap in the formation. Due to Tian, Yu Taoist leaving his position without permission, the formation became ineffective. The demon took the opportunity to escape their encirclement. Liu Xiaoyun, who was watching from the side, could not help but curse them as fools, then immediately chased after the direction the demon fled. The demon was injured from the recent battle, and was quickly caught up by Liu Xiaoyun. But in order not to leave sword marks on the demon, to avoid revealing his identity, Liu Xiaoyun prepared to subdue him with bare hands. And the demon, seeing someone chasing him, directly used innate true energy to consume his vitality, preparing to fight to the death. Faced with the demon whose strength surged, Liu Xiaoyun, without using weapons, found it very difficult to cope. Relying only on his fists, could not break through the demon's protective energy. Since attacking from the outside was not feasible, Liu Xiaoyun prepared to attack from the inside. At this moment, his right hand was covered in lightning. Then he suddenly leaped up and struck the demon on the head with the palm. The power of lightning destroyed the demon's body from the inside out. Eliminating the demon, Liu Xiaoyun let out a big sigh of relief. Now, he just had to wait for the Huashan disciples to arrive. But just as he was about to leave, a sudden voice came from behind. "I want to talk to you. Can you spare a moment?" Hearing the voice, Liu Xiaoyun was startled. When did this person appear without him noticing at all? Don't be fooled by his short stature. Not even 1.5 meters tall. He is the #1 sword of the Huashan sect. The Plum Blossom Sword God, one of the top 10 masters in the martial world. As Liu Xiaoyun was about to leave after defeating the demon, the Plum Blossom Sword God suddenly appeared to chat with him. He was quite curious why Liu Xiaoyun chose to leave after defeating the demon, and even concealed his identity. Liu Xiaoyun did not hide it, but directly stated the reason. He just didn't want to cause unnecessary misunderstandings. After learning this, the Huashan Sword God still represented the Huashan sect to say that he owed Liu Xiaoyun a favor. The Plum Blossom Sword God sighed. My disciple should trust his fellow brothers, and should be able to hold his position in the formation. At this time, Liu Xiaoyun couldn't help but secretly curse Taoist Tian. You! What a fool! The Plum Blossom Sword God asked Liu Xiaoyun if he needed anything. Liu Xiaoyun said he didn't need anything. He just hoped to lift the blockade soon. Liu Xiaoyun showed no hint of greed, which made the Plum Blossom Sword God look at him in a new light. The Plum Blossom Sword God hoped that when Liu Xiaoyun traveled, he would take Taoist Tianyu with him. Hearing this, Liu Xiaoyun immediately replied he didn't want to take this fool along. And the Plum Blossom Sword God believed that Tian, you staying in the mountains for a lifetime, being praised as a genius, would be very detrimental to his future growth. He should train more in the martial world, can help him understand his own, and said that Lion Xiaoyun on the road could use force against him. Seeing that Lion Xiaoyun was still not very willing, the Plum Blossom Sword God took out an identity token from his pocket. Upon seeing this, Lion Xiaoyun's whole body shook. This is the Plum Blossom Sword God's gratitude token, a proof of gratitude to be used in the future after receiving a favor. A precious item that is hard to buy for any price. Considering the gratitude token, Lion Xiaoyun agreed to take Taoist Tianyu with him. The next day, the group set off again on the road to Zhejiang. Although Lion Xiaoyun was very unhappy to see Taoist Tianyu, he was still very grateful to Taoist Tianyu for giving him a chance to command one of the top 10 masters. Damn, Lion Xiaoyun did not let Tianyu sit in the carriage with them, but instead made him ride a horse alone. This made Tianyu look very unhappy. When it was time to rest at night, Tianyu kept mentioning, intentionally or unintentionally, that his master is the Plum Blossom Sword God. Lion Xiaoyun acted indifferent. Finally, unable to bear it any longer, Tianyu looked self-righteous. Lion Xiaoyun suddenly spoke up and said he remembered the wild dogs he saw not long ago in the forest. A few wild dogs were attacking a prey. One of the wild dogs disrupted the formation and attacked the prey, causing the prey to escape through the gap in the formation. Wasn't that wild dog very stupid? At this moment, Tianyu still hadn't caught on to Lion Xiaoyun's meaning, and was still defending that wild dog. That wild dog must have had its reasons, right? Lion Xiaoyun continued, fortunately, it was just a wild dog. At most, it would go hungry for a meal, but if it happened in the martial world, wouldn't that be a terrifying thing? Because of someone's wrong judgment, letting a murderer go free might sacrifice many innocent people. Until now, Tianyu still hadn't reacted, and continued to defend. But just as he was halfway through his words, he suddenly thought of something. Then he suddenly stood up and shouted angrily, "What are you talking about?" Lion Xiaoyun said, with an indifferent expression, "I was just chatting about wild dogs." At this moment, Tianyu was so angry that he trembled all over, clenching his teeth, but unable to vent his frustration. By late at night, after everyone had fallen asleep, Tianyu woke Lion Xiaoyun up, inviting him to talk in a remote place. Lion Xiaoyun followed him to a secluded area, and Tianyu's attitude changed instantly, wanting to take revenge for the humiliation he had suffered earlier. But no matter how he spoke, Lion Xiaoyun just wouldn't get angry. In the end, Tian Yu, in frustration, drew his weapon, wanting to settle it with Lion Xiaoyun through force. Lion Xiaoyun found it quite boring and turned to leave. In fact, he was thinking, come on, hit me already. Lion Xiaoyun's attitude completely infuriated Tian Yu. Tian Yu roared, his momentum instantly surging. Then he shouted loudly to stop Lion Xiaoyun. At this moment, Lion Xiaoyun chuckled and said, "You forced me to fight you." "Tian," Yu said impatiently, "got it. Bring it on." Before he could finish his sentence, Lion Xiaoyun suddenly disappeared before his eyes. When he reappeared, he was already in front of Tian Yu. Before Tian Yu could react, a sword struck at his throat. Tian Yu was very dissatisfied, saying that Lion Xiaoyun had ambushed him. Immediately after, he shouted angrily, charging at Lion Xiaoyun. Lion Xiaoyun only used one move, and Tian Yu lost his weapon and fell to the ground. This time, without waiting for him to speak, Lion Xiaoyun gave him a thorough beating. Being beaten like this, Tian Yu even brought up his master, the Plum Blossom Sword. God! To threaten Lion Xiaoyun. He even wanted to fabricate facts to frame him. However, Lion Xiaoyun was not afraid, and shouted loudly, "Come out." Then Tang Shuyan walked out from the bushes. It turns out that when Tian Yu asked him to go out earlier, he had already let Tang Shuyan follow him. With Tang Shuyan present, Lion Xiaoyun was not afraid of Tian Yu's reckless behavior. So the two of them made a new bet in front of Tang Shuyan. The loser would serve the winner. Tian Yu thought he would lose again, this time, believing it was because he wasn't prepared, and that he was caught off guard by the opponent's sneak attack. This time, Lion Xiaoyun let him strike first. Tian Yu started with the Plum Blossom, 36 swords, Plum Blossom 9 swords, while Lion Xiaoyun only used a simple punch. He also blocked his sword energy, then suddenly appeared in front of Tian Yu. A heavy punch landed on his face, ending the fight with just 2 punches. According to the bet, Tian Yu had to serve Lion Xiaoyun as his horseman, but they hadn't gone far when the convoy stopped moving, because ahead, 2 groups of bandits were arguing. But it wasn't long before another convoy stopped next to them. Liu Xiaoyun was startled when he saw the convoy's flag. Liu Xiaoyun and his group continued on their way to Hangzhou, Zhejiang, but unexpectedly encountered bandits on the road again. However, this time there was also a convoy, and the guards of the convoy were all top-tier experts. Seeing the convoy's flag, Lion Xiaoyun was taken aback. 2 flags were hanging from the horse's back, one representing the royal family, and the other representing the Juge family. In the carriage sat a young girl, which made Lion Xiaoyun somewhat puzzled. In the memories of his previous life, there was no female member of the Juge family appearing in Zhejiang. Instead, there was a male member who helped the government clear out the Japanese pirates in Zhejiang, achieving great merit, and earned the title of Earth Dragon in the martial world. When night fell and they rested, the girl from the Juge family took the initiative to walk to Lion Xiaoyun's camp. She said her name was Juge Hui, and she wanted to make friends with everyone. This made Lion Xiaoyun unable to help but doubt Juge Hui. A few people gathered around the campfire, chatting happily. In the middle, Juge Hui invited them to travel together. But Lion Xiaoyun's destination was Hangzhou, and Juge Hui was going to Zhejiang. However, in order to travel with Lion Xiaoyun, Juge Hui changed her destination, wanting to go to Hangzhou together. This made Lion Xiaoyun even more curious about Juge Hui. He wondered what this woman was really up to.